Hello, welcome to episode 11 of the Why podcast, or the
Hello.
Why question podcast, actually. What is the name of this podcast?
Well, it was meant to be the Y podcast, but
Because
that,
I
that
feel
was.
like
I'm pretty sure that was
I keep
taken. So
saying
it's like.
the Why podcast, but should we start calling it the Why question podcast? Is that the official name, like where you
Mm,
search it and stuff? Probably. It might be better to start introducing it as that.
yeah, because I think it is a Y question podcast because of the Y podcast was taken.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we.
Should we
I'm
start
pretty sure we
again?
have to.
Well, should we start season 2? Welcome to the Why question podcast. Anyway,
Yeah, we have to do
episode 11. Wow. You know what? I keep,
11,
I
bro.
keep getting
That's
surprised. I keep getting surprised
we're still going strong.
by how many weeks we're going. Episode 11. And yes, today we are talking about why people love. Why do we love as humans? And just everything. Why do we love? It's a little
What a useless
Valentine's special.
emotion.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah, what useless emotion? Let's go. We're
It's
done.
silly and it doesn't matter. Oh, it's so crying. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to get on that Sigma grind set, you can't have any love in your life, according to
Yeah.
Andrew Tate.
But yeah, it's Valentine's on Friday, so we thought we'd. Well, this is Twitch chat's idea. We don't give them names. It is just Twitch
Yeah, we
chat.
don't identify people. We
Just-
only give them
just chat.
labels.
Yeah, chat's idea. Anyway,
Chat's idea.
Yeah, why do we love? What's your first initial thoughts?
Huh. That's actually a bit of a more difficult one to kind of pinpoint,
Hmm.
like why. So I feel like, I mean, there has to be some sort of biological like attachment to
Yeah.
whoever brought you into the world, like your mother, right? It has to be the first one. But I couldn't possibly like come up with like why is it why does that happen just because they bring you into the world? It's like how do
Yeah.
you know? How do you know that it's instinctively that it's your
I think
mother?
that's
Like,
what it is. I think the fact that it is unexplainable. That's why love is love, because it's an unexplainable
suppose
feeling.
so.
It's like it's almost probably the strongest kind of feeling you can feel towards anything.
It's
If you
probably the
love something, you're drawn to
strongest-
it a lot.
yeah, it's probably the strongest. Yeah, probably the strongest feeling, as in like it has the biggest chance of affecting what you actually do,
Yeah, yeah,
what
no,
you do in
I-
life,
yeah,
or how you like think.
yeah, I agree. Because, and I think it can come down
But
to
that's why.
the kind of chemical part of it as well, because it makes your body
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
do things.
yeah. That's what I mean. Like it has to be something. It has to be something more real than a lot of other emotions,
Yeah.
as in like you said, chemical reaction, because it genuinely, in a lot of cases, can change people to do.
Hmm.
I mean, for the better or worse, but it can actually change people's like behavior.
Their actual like
suck-
physical makeup, like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they're
exactly.
made of. You've got more
Yeah, exactly.
chemicals if you compared
it
to
has
say
to be
a different
more-
emotion where the chemical release might be less than the chemical release of the feeling of love. But maybe and is do you think what comes first? Do you think love happens and then chemical release, or do you think because you have this amount of chemical release in your body, then that equals love?
I don't think any emotion that we've called what we've called it can come before the chemical reaction.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
it's
sure.
like a label for the way we feel.
Yeah, it's a
isn't it?
label for it's. I think it's just a label for the chemical reaction. I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know if it's chemical or like what it is,
Yeah.
but something has to happen within your body, and I'm assuming which affects your brain as well at the same time.
Yeah.
Something has to happen with that feeling that makes your body go, "I love this person."
Yeah, because I've
Whatever
got
that
here, it's
feeling
like
actually is.
the chemistry of it. So you've got dopamine, which is one of the chemicals, and that's like your pleasure chemical. And then you've got
Yeah.
oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical, and serotonin, which is like your stability chemical, which is like the happiness chemical kind of thing. So
I wonder what a bonding chemical means.
it's just, I guess it's
That
like
one's-
an attachment. If you've got, I
Yeah,
don't
but,
know,
so,
if
but
something
how does that work?
release, yeah, is
How's that? Because I understand like moods and like certain other ones that affect your a lot of other feelings and emotions because that's like just a lack of this or more of this. which just makes your body like feel happier because it just brings everything
Yeah.
like into. But the bonding one, I'm like, how do you measure bonding in
Yeah,
in
like
in like a
an actual.
chemical reaction? And
It's
also,
not. It's not
what
like an
does that
actual
even
connection
do?
because it's invisible.
Like if you get too much, was it what was it called?
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin. Because I've heard of that before, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's like, what happens if you just overload the shit out of oxytocin?
Yeah. What
What
if?
actually happens to your body? Like, do
Imagine
you
if
just?
I spiked you with a shit ton of
Yeah,
oxytocin.
that's what I'm
Would that
saying.
mean
Like,
you? Would that make you live? Is that the key?
is that like a love potion? You just fucking
Yeah.
spike someone's drink with oxytocin, and you just stare at them, and you're like,
And
yeah,
then they're
this is
just
I did this to you.
attached. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the key.
unhealthy emotional attachment. Yeah, I'm assuming that when people say they like, and ironically, like they go crazy for someone, I'm assuming that like
Yeah.
emotion has gone to such an extreme level that you feel like you can't live
There,
without them. Like
that is addiction,
physically, you
isn't it?
can't live without them.
And I
Yeah,
think
but
that
it's
idea
probably
is
yeah,
it links to the
probably that.
different kind of attachment styles as well. Have you heard about different attachment
Oh,
styles? So, because it says here, it's like
I can kind
you
of
can kind
see.
of
Yeah,
be, securely attached where you're not kind of investing too much of yourself where you can't
yeah,
live
yeah,
without
yeah,
someone.
yeah.
And then there's like anxious attachment, which is I think
Jealousy, I'm guessing,
it's
like a
where
lot of jealousy
you kind of
and
need to be you always need reassurance, like you need to be around them all the time. You kind of anxious that they might leave, things like that. And then the avoidance style, which is I think where you are almost afraid of getting too close and getting attached, and you avoid
that's
it.
how women
And
flirt.
yeah, and I think that those our beliefs around like attachment and things like that all stems from childhood. And I think we speak
Oh,
about beliefs and
100%.
things like that a lot.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
that our ability to live and how we live is always shaped by childhood experiences and probably how we see our parents' attachment style, pretty much. And
I think the way you get raised by your parents when it comes
yeah,
to love is so fucking important
100%,
to how you'll end up acting when you grow
100%,
up. Like you said, the different attachments, right?
yeah,
If you grow up with a parent that is very that kind of raises you to be very like anxiously attached, like let's say they're not, I don't know what example it could be. Let's say they're not good at like expressing their love unless you do something. That can
yeah.
kind of
It will
train your
wire
brain
you
to be like, okay, I need to do something to get love,
exactly.
and that
Whereas
can, I'm
I
assuming,
feel like
that could end up being like an attachment problem.
yeah, and but the healthy way of that I think would be like just say if you're raised and just experiencing love from just existing, then I think that's a
Yeah,
more you get a more healthy attachment because you're like
yeah,
if you
100%.
just love it's just a general good thing.
It's more of a
I think
it's
love
more
and
of like a
gratitude are almost interlinked as well.
oh,
Um,
100%. At least for a child, or at least for like early
yeah,
years, those two you can't differentiate them, which is what I think a lot of parents like end up missing. Is that
I think everyone misses it a lot of the time.
yeah,
Education,
everyone, but
everything.
it's more important from a parent
Yeah.
sense of like perspective, especially when you're so young. That you pick
When
up
you're
on
raising a child,
things.
yeah,
Yeah, you pick as a child, you pick up on so many things subconsciously. It's kind of
100%.
insane.
Yeah, that's
Like
how
children
you're
can
shaped.
see children can tell like almost your emotion change like that. It's
Yeah, if you think when you're a kid,
incredible.
you're not conscious, right? Before you know you're a human, pretty much.
Yeah,
Before that, you've got no filter. You haven't developed any beliefs yet, so you've got no conscious filter. Like now we have a filter of consciousness, which we observe the world through, and our beliefs kind of take it and then might change it a little bit, and our subconscious will take that as a fact. But when you're a kid and there's no
yeah,
filter, you take
yeah,
what you're given as factual. Your subconscious will take
yeah.
that,
It's
and
it's
that's
face
when the
value. You
beliefs.
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think that's
you don't
why kids have that
understand
kind
like.
of you see the world as so novel and fun because everything is new,
Probably,
everything's
yeah,
face
probably,
value
yeah.
until
It's that
we
like
get older.
literally childlike innocence, which is
Exactly.
which
Yeah.
is the term for that. It's like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you don't have any you don't have any prejudice against anything. But that's also the problem when it then comes to not teaching your like children
Exactly.
correctly when it comes to, for example, love, right? Because if you raise your kid to only get love if they do something, or
Mm.
abandonment in childhood equals anxious attachment, as in
Yeah, yeah.
you don't give them enough love like unconditionally.
Mm.
I mean, there's the saying that parents' love for their child is the only like love that should be unconditional, no matter
100%.
what,
Yeah,
because that's just how it needs to be.
it's
But that doesn't mean
it's almost the
you
most
should.
natural thing, having
Yeah,
a
but
child.
yeah, exactly. Or it should be. But
Yeah,
the only problem is when the parents don't let their children kind of like be their own person as well. As if
mm.
you shower them with too much love and they become like kind of attached to you to the
That
point where they feel like they
yeah,
can't live without their parents. That's also a
that's also
problem
like
because they,
anxious attachment then as well, because
yeah, in a way, it's anxious attachment in the opposite sense of like
yeah,
you feel like you can't live without your parents because
because you don't know what it's
you
like
don't know
to
how to
live
live.
without them, and then your
Yeah, you
brain
don't know
is
how to live on your own.
sees not having something as the unknown, like it's the unknown, and we know as humans we are completely afraid of the unknown. Like our brains want to keep us in
Yeah, and
the
it's
same place and comfortable.
that balance is actually a lot simpler than people think. It's mostly you just have to react to like what your child is doing. So if
Yeah,
your child is like doing something bad, you explain to them why it was bad because like you said, it's like this childlike innocence. They don't do anything with the intention of doing something
yeah,
that you
exactly.
think they're
Because they
doing because
haven't
they don't
developed
have
any
that. They
beliefs
don't
yet
have that.
about around it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I mean, in specific like to love, because that is the conversation. I feel
Yeah,
like we could have a separate
yeah,
conversation
true.
about parenting at this
Yeah,
point. But when it comes to love specifically, it's very simple in the way that if your child is doing something for you in an act of like kindness or love towards you, you need to make sure that you reciprocate that
yeah.
feeling. Otherwise, that could mess up with their
The thing is,
concept of love.
I think fundament like as we look at it from our point of view, where we've learnt about it now, it is easy. Like it is pretty simple and easy to almost
Yeah,
shape when you understand it. However, it's almost like a big chain reaction because, say, the parents, they would have learnt things in their childhood, which isn't leading them to not be able to,
exactly.
raise their kid. And it's just a chain reaction. And the longer it goes on, the worse it gets. So it's like
Yeah,
it
because
takes a
the
lot to
yeah
change that the kind of pattern because
Yeah, to
it,
break the pattern of what like has happened like
yeah,
previously.
it's
But yeah, I
literally
think
like just generational trauma. Literally is.
actually, literally, you keep the same patterns
Yeah,
for it
and it just
goes forward. But
shapes.
yeah,
Yeah, keeps shaping
let's.
people
I
and
think we should move on to a different
yeah.
aspect of
Oh,
love.
I want to throw a little fact I saw the other. Well, I don't know how factual it is, but it was like humans have been hunter gatherers for 99% of existence. I saw that somewhere, and I was like, and that made me think. It kind of links to what we were speaking about, how fickle our brains are, and how they still think in that way of emotional, just bonding for kind of resourcefulness and survival instinct. So in terms of love, it's like
Oh yeah,
love is just a basic human need for connection and like security, and obviously breeding. Like if we live
yeah.
in that way, I think is a very
Self-preservation.
yeah.
It's
It's a
also
survival
very
mechanism,
necessary.
and every animal experiences the same sort of feeling, chemically.
I think I think
To
I think
to
love
breed.
might be like the only emotion that is universally felt by like
Mm,
everyone.
yeah,
Like I
and
mean,
it's
it's not like
like,
animals
and
and
it's the
humans and
same
like
kind of
anything.
feeling. It's not. I,
Yeah, I'm assuming. I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I'm not an animal expert.
I'm just
But
trying to
from
think. Like, but then what about um, say if when I'm feeding my dog, he gets like excited to see his food. Like, do you think the chemical reaction in his brain, like the dopamine effect, where the anticipation for a reward, do you think that's the same thing that we get maybe when it comes to, I don't know, like something we might call happiness? Like, the excitement to go and, I don't know, play a video game. Do you think the dopamine kind of release is similar in all species, just in terms of anticipation? And
That is a
because then in that sense, I guess all feelings are universal.
well, I don't. It kind of depends, but I'm not sure. I'm not. I think it depends how developed the animal is when it comes to like
Yeah, yeah,
their state of being,
true.
which is why I think I. I mean, I don't know, but I think love is just so primitive in the sense
Yeah,
that you can't. I don't think you can be like a self-preserving existence without having the
true.
need for like
Yeah,
love
anything that kind
to
of
keep
reproduces,
going.
like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I at least that's what my idea would
yeah,
be
that makes sense.
for love on like the base level. It's like you need that for self-preservation, and obviously you can fall out of love and fall in with love with
Yeah,
whoever you end up like having kids with. But that is like the main drive to self-preservation is love because that's how people get together and keep the
yeah, and also just
species going
I think
or animals.
general, even away from interpersonal, like love and between people. What about the love for doing things like that
Yeah,
same
that's what
chemical
I wanted to
reaction
get into.
to, yeah, like I think that is also a big key to human existence because it makes you strive for something, and you know that all humans want to better themselves. Is that's also part of our survival. It's we want to be we want to be better. We want more all the time, don't we? And it's like I think love plays a part in that as well because say if you know love your job, you're more likely to strive and do better in it, or
Yeah,
anything you
I
love,
think
like you're
I think
bound to do better in it.
love in the more like materialistic sense, if you could
Mm.
call it that, is just a huge motivator and a drive to like improve every other aspect of your life.
Yeah.
So, like you said, if you have like a love for, I mean, there's the saying that I mean, you should love your job,
Mm.
or you should try and get like a job that you actually love doing because it's extremely useful to you as a person to actually love what you're doing every single day and not have it feel like a chore. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's more just you don't feel as exhausted from doing things that you love than what you don't love.
Yeah. True.
So you have a lot more energy, a lot more passion, a lot more motivation to do other things than just that one thing. So it's kind of also you get a lot of side effects from love that just isn't directly attached to love, but
Mm.
you couldn't get it without having it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Do you think you can fake love until you feel it for real?
No, I don't. I don't.
It's just like a
I
random
don't
thing that
think.
popped into my mind. I don't know. Do you think like yeah?
I don't
Because you
think
know
it's.
how that
You can't go from zero to love. I think there could be a stage of I'm not sure if I actually like this person, and that can evolve into
yeah, yeah,
love
yeah,
because
yeah.
it depends how much you know someone. But I don't think you can go from
Like almost.
zero interest to loving someone by like learning to love them. I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, I guess like yeah, you can't force it to happen, but I guess it always does go from zero. When say if you meet someone new, it is technically you're going from zero to because if someone's going from
No,
stranger to the but faking it, yeah, I think I don't know
yeah,
if
that's what I
that's
mean. Like,
yeah, I don't
as in,
think
like,
that's
but even with strangers, you pick up on a lot of things the second you meet someone. So even
yeah,
let's say
true.
you meet someone for the first time, there are a lot of clues and social cues that you pick
Mm,
up on the second you meet someone. I mean, most of them are superficial because it's mostly to do with appearance, but that's also important, even though people will claim it's not. But either way, that attraction you have to someone, and let's say the first, I don't know, first moment, first date, whatever, you start talking to them, and you can tell immediately that this person is going to be interesting or not
true.
will most likely depend on whether or not you want to meet them again. And if they are interesting, that means that it's not zero
Yeah,
anymore. That it's gone quite far up because
but
you
then it
found someone
yeah, and
interesting to
say
talk with.
if you there's a stranger and they're not interested, you don't think you can switch that for like say if you meet someone and go, yeah, I don't think so, I don't think it's gonna work. But then further on you go, actually, wait. You kind of
That's just
flip it.
natural. That's just a natural progression. That just
Yeah.
depends on how the what the conversations have been about and how they've like how comfortable they've been with it. Maybe they're quite shy with people they don't know, so they don't
Yeah,
actually
true.
show like their true self. And you're like, okay, I don't know if I love this
Mm,
side of this person, but maybe it wasn't who they actually were. And then later on, you got more comfortable, you started knowing more, and it turned into love in the end,
yeah.
which I think is a natural progression.
Yeah, I
But
think
I
it is
don't
always
think you
kind of
can.
just natural,
I
isn't it?
don't think you can fake it in the sense of
No,
like,
because that.
let's say you have that you don't know, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and the feeling. I mean, you start liking the person more, but the
Mm,
feeling of love doesn't really appear. You could absolutely fake it, but you're not gonna feel.
yeah, you can't fake the
That's
feeling. I think
you can't fake the
the
feeling,
way
which is
I
why
was
I think
thinking of it is, do you know,
it ends
like
up in.
when people, all the motivational people, are like, do you know the things you hate, like going to the gym and this kind of area, like yeah, going gym, eating well. People always say, "Oh, just learn to love it. Just learn to love going on the runs. You just gotta love
Yeah,
that shit."
that's
That's where
that's
I'm
so.
like, is that possible? Is it possible to actually
No, no,
love something you like probably don't like? But then I think about it, and I think because the way I look at things, I'm going back to the example I always use, like the polarity law.
I know.
It suggests that love and hate are the same thing. It's just, different. It's just a matter of degree. So, in that sense, it is possible to go from hate to love. And that's why I think it's interesting because if you're I don't know, you're like a crazy monk. You've got full emotional mastery. Like you can control your
You
mind,
reached nirvana.
and you hate something, and you can will yourself to work up to love. See, I think that's possible. I think it's possible to change from hate to love because they are the same thing. And the practical ways around it is obviously what I don't completely know yet. But it's like I think there is a way to get there to at least enjoy what you're doing more than. And I do thinking about it more now as I'm speaking about it. It's like it kind of all links to gratitude as well, especially because I'm thinking now like I think a previous version of me in the job I'm doing now probably wouldn't have liked it as much because of I don't just who I was. I probably would have been more like clock watching, just anxious about everything and just not wanting to be there and probably quitting because that's what happened with the job like 2 years ago or something. But now I'm
Yeah.
like, when I'm there, I focus on way more being grateful for like the moment I'm in. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm good. Everything's cool, and I think that kind of difference, that gratitude has kind of it has taken me up the scale. So I think in that sense, I think it is possible to change. From love to hate. I think it is possible, but I don't think it's not like faking it till you make it. Almost, it's
No, that's what
more
I mean.
about being
Yeah, you could
grateful for the present moment.
absolutely. Yeah, you can absolutely change from one emotion to another. Is that depends on a lot of things. Like you can you could hate so many things when you were young, and you learn to love them when you grow up because you have a completely different perspective. You've lived a
Mm.
lot more years. You've had more experiences, so on and so on. But that feeling, you can't fake it. There's not a
Yeah,
single
I
part
don't
of
think
me
you
that
can
believes
ever
that you could
fake
fake
feelings.
loving something. And
Yeah.
my problem with the people who go, "Oh, you just have to learn to love it," they completely misunderstand why someone is in the position of not doing it every day to begin with. Because yeah, let's take working out for example. It's like no matter how many times I've done it. I mean, last year, not last year. Yeah, no, last year around this time, I worked out like almost every single day.
Mm.
I can't get back to that. But even if I do go back to it, I didn't love working out
Yeah.
in and of itself. That was still fucking shit. I don't enjoy working out. I enjoyed the benefits of working out, as in like I felt better, I had more energy, I felt like it was easier to like get up
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
concentrate, and so and so. So I loved that feeling, but I didn't love working out in and of itself.
Yeah.
And so when they go, you just need to learn to love it. No, no, no. You need to learn why you want to do it, and have something that you love from
About it.
doing it.
Yeah. It's just where
It's
you
not
put
about the
your
act
kind of
itself.
your focus because to be like even I think the same like when I'm physically actually moving a weight like I don't know if I how if I enjoy it or I don't like hate it. I'm pretty neutral about that. But I think it is that yeah the feeling directly afterwards. It might not be after the work. I think I like the feeling straight after a set or something. And I think it's all
Yeah,
about your perspective and where you put your focus and what you're actually grateful for. And because you can either be grateful for that feeling like straight after a set or after the workout, or you can be more focused and more aware of that felt awful, that felt shit. I hate this movement, and it's like the analogy of count. If I ask you to count all the red cars, you're only going to see red cars, and if I
yeah, yeah,
say
yeah, hundred
you know
percent.
the tell me how many blue cars you see, you're not going to be able to tell me. I think it's the same with yeah, like loving something as well. It's focusing on the parts that you actually love and
Yeah,
actually are
it's
grateful
focusing
for,
exactly.
and if you put more focus there, more of it's gonna you see it more. You see more of it.
Yeah, because even, but that's again that's my problem when people talk about like loving something or
Hmm.
someone, uh, but in this case something specifically, loving something. It's like that's not you've got the complete wrong focus. It's not about loving the action in and of itself or not. That's where people end up failing because for a lot of people that action isn't something that they would ever love,
Hmm.
no matter how many times it's gonna be done. It's all about, like you said, what you focus on. You have to find something that you love about it in a different sense. Again, back to the workout thing. I'd much rather play games all day and fucking eat McDonald's whenever I want instead of working out because it's a lot easier and a lot more fun for me.
Yeah,
But I understand that I can't do that because of all the
and it's
shit
like,
things are gonna
and
happen.
that stems from that it's all just your brain and subconscious, hunter gatherer self saying I like instant pleasure, and that because
Yeah,
that's what most people enjoy. Well, pretty much everyone is
I
wired
don't
to
like
enjoy
sweating
like
and fucking having like blood taste in my mouth from like pumping or running or something like that every
yeah.
day. I mean, if I love that, I'd be a psychopath. But I love the feeling, like you said, also after, for example,
Hmm.
I've done it, I'd be like, okay, damn, I spent like
Yeah,
I did good on that
it's a
set. I
different
love
kind
that
of
feeling.
chemical release, isn't it? I think it's serotonin that gets released when after you work out, and it's more of like the happiness chemical rather than just the pleasure chemical.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a different kind of happiness from
yeah,
like,
it's the more you've earned it. I think
yeah, exactly,
dopamine
which
that
is
you don't earn is the ones that is almost artificial. It's like when you're scrolling, it's the
that's the
come and go
very
really
addictive
quick.
one.
Yeah, that's the addictive one. However, the
Which
earned
is
kind
kind of
of
shit. It's a shit that we're
yeah,
built in that way that the easy quick fix is the addictive one, while the long like
exactly.
hard working one is like the shit one.
But you think yeah, I don't know. It's imagine if it was the other way around. I don't think it would feel any different. Like if it was
No, the
easier
no no no
to
the
if it was
yeah no
easier
the
to
problem
kind of work out, easier to do all that,
yeah
in
the problem is
our
just
perception of it wouldn't be like, oh, working out's good because
yeah.
we'd
And
be like, oh, what's
the
the
only
point?
way you can the only way you can handle that, same will love as well, is just again how you get raised, how you get taught
Yeah.
things, how you have like these mechanisms in for yourself, like your self discipline, to how you handle these emotions. That is
Yeah.
the only block you have for the instant like love or instant relief or whatever it is, compared to like the more healthy
Mm.
version that usually takes longer and doesn't come immediately and doesn't give you like the same satisfaction there and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that's love for things,
Yeah. I
which
was gonna here. I've got do you think love is a choice or it just happens?
ooh,
Is it just obviously
I
yeah?
think
Do you cultivate it or
I think if you say love is a choice, then you'd also have to say that being able to fake love is possible.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, but
And
then
I don't
yeah,
think either is possible. I don't think you can choose to love someone
no,
just out of nowhere. As in, like, you can again feelings develop different for everyone and for different people, so I think you absolutely can be in a situation where you like someone or maybe don't, and you can learn to love them the more you know about them,
hmm,
who knows. But I don't think you could ever choose to be like that person, I now
I'm
love them,
going.
because
You
you're
can
not going to
choose to
actually love
kind
them.
of yeah. I think you can choose to go try and guide yourself in a direction where you could, But
Yeah,
I
you
don't
can
think you
give them
can just choose the
no.
like. You can
I don't.
choose.
That'd
You
be
can set on a
fucking
path. Like
ridiculous.
you can choose to, I don't know, meet. You can choose to go and meet someone, but then you can't choose whether the love happens from that. You know?
Yeah, I think you can choose the direction where you're going, as in like I'm gonna give this person more benefit of the doubt because I want to
Mm.
love them. Like I feel like this person is like right for
Yeah, it's
me,
like
so I'm
giving them a
gonna
chance.
give them a chance. And if they do something that usually would annoy me, I'd be like, it's fine. I'll look
Yeah,
past it this time because I want to love this person or this whatever it is. But even after all of that, I don't think you can just decide one day that you're like, yes, I love this person,
yeah. No,
because
I think
that
it does happen. I think
that's
all
not
feelings happen to you. I think all feelings are on a subconscious level, right? And it's
on a
like,
spectrum.
yeah,
Some would say.
and and it's all just on a. It's all in our bodies. It's all like chemical. It's all subconscious, right? And I think
Yeah,
everything that's subconscious is happening to us. I think this whole world is happening to us and through us. I think the only part that you can where you can choose things is the conscious self, like the awareness. All you can choose is what you're aware of. So it's like
yeah,
I think pretty much every emotions happens to you. All you choose is your reaction to it.
exactly. And also, which is why breakups are so hard and like falling out or losing someone. It's also
Mm,
you can't choose to unlove someone. Like
exactly. Yeah.
something has to happen for you to not love them
Mm.
anymore, which breaks that love and like breaks that trust.
Because
But you can't, even if someone is a shit person, but you still love them, you can't just you can absolutely walk away from them and
yeah,
say like, oh, I don't want to be with that person anymore. But that
but it
connection
goes
in your
against
brain,
your subconscious body, your ego. It goes against that because your body doesn't know what's going on. Your body
yeah,
has just got all this stuff that it's learned, these habits. It's learned that you talk to this person every day. It's learned this, like, you see this person or whatever. And when you,
exactly.
all of a sudden, you're thrown into the unknown where, okay, gone. It's like your body doesn't know what to do. And that's when I think that's when it's most important for you to choose how to react. And that's
Absolutely.
when you kind of
Maybe
have to
distract
really,
yourself, like focus, refocus your attention elsewhere, and so on and so on.
yeah,
But
and
you,
just kind of, yeah, no,
but yeah, I
understanding
don't
that
think,
it's the feelings you're feeling is just it's just your body going and your subconscious most of the time going, oh shit, this is
yeah, I don't
completely
think you can choose
different.
either
It's a
way.
survival yeah, it's you're always gonna have those feelings because your body wants it's like a defense mechanism. It's saying here
Yeah,
have pain so you go back to what it was and will be comfortable again because you're in a habit and routine because that's all we are. We're just creatures of habit at the end of the day. So it's kind of
everything that becomes your norm will all automatically feel more comfortable, even
yeah,
if it's a bad situation from like an
exactly.
outsider perspective.
Yeah,
It's still gonna feel like
there's
the normal
there
because
is
that's
no
what
good
you've
and
gotten
bad
used to.
to. There's no such thing as good and bad to kind of our subconscious. It's just what we assign to it. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. So it's a little bit distracting looking at my face there, just constantly being spammed.
we'll have to
But yeah,
ban it for
I don't
you.
think you can. I don't think you can choose to love someone and to like unlove someone or to hate someone just
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
I
You
think
can't just
it'll just
you,
kind
you
of
can't just like
happens.
switch it on like that. It's like the feel the feeling is so deeply rooted within your brain that it's not like you can't just turn it off like a switch. Like it's
Yeah,
gonna have to
we are
naturally
not
fucking decrease
like as
or
conscious as we
increase.
are. We're not that powerful consciously
No, we're not that
to
powerful over our
just
own like
completely
emotions to
switch
just be like,
things. Like we are stuck in our bodies. We are stuck in
But yeah,
this
again,
vessel.
I mean,
It's like we
you can
can't really.
absolutely like fake it till you make it in the sense of
You can fake it on
you
an
can keep
outside point of view, but you can never fake the
yeah, and you can
feeling
also push
internally, I think.
yourself to you can also
Yeah,
push yourself in that direction by faking it until you make it, and at some point maybe it does actually become true,
yeah,
but then that feeling isn't fake anymore.
exactly. Yeah,
That
it's
feeling
like
is real.
yeah, a feeling can never be fake inside of you. Like if the feeling's there, it's real. If it's not there,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
It,
it's not
then
real.
it's fake.
It's like yeah, it's either
Then it's
on and
not real.
off, and I
Yeah,
think you can
yeah,
never.
it's either it's a two like choice situation. It's either true or it's false. You can't
Yeah,
just be like, yes, now it's true. It's
yeah.
like
It's
that
only
doesn't
it's
that doesn't
only
work.
it can only be true by someone looking at you or
Yeah.
external. But yeah, the way you actually feel inside has to be true or false. Um, what about There's another perspective of love, it being like a just like a universal force beyond kind of the self, beyond it. It kind of almost falls into line with what I speak about like consciousness being kind of beyond us. There's a view that that's also it's just love, like it's just this kind of overarching grand power that draws things together and manifests creation, because that's kind
It
of what
seems
it
like
is
some.
as well. Like if it wasn't for love, that we wouldn't be here. Maybe the idea of love being that universe, that power, that's how the universe is kind of moved and created, and that's how creation works. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
That's a weird one. I don't I guess the I mean technically I guess the evolution of humans could be attached to like the feeling of love, because obviously self-preservation has to. I
Yeah,
mean, it doesn't have to, but for the most part, it definitely happened because of people loving each other and wanting to like keep going and like keep moving forward. But I don't know if like I don't know about that one. That one,
yeah. I think the
so
idea
it's
that
just
it's because it's love is it's just a word that we've given to the feeling. I think if there is,
exactly.
I always say it's like if there is this higher universal force beyond this, we don't know what it is. Like we can't put words to it. It's just something that you feel, which kind of I guess could could be if it's such a strong feeling, like
Yeah, I guess you could, but again, in that case, it would just. Oh, I guess I can see the point of you take love as like the main component to everyone's motivation to
that
keep
driving
going and like
force of
exploring a
almost the
driving force.
universe.
Yeah,
It's like that essence of
I can
everything.
actually, yeah, I can see that, but I don't know. It feels very corny to be like, oh yeah, love
Yeah,
is the universe fucking force and drive
yeah.
to why we've ended up where we
It's
are. It's
very
like,
like
I don't know about that.
that's how I kind of see it. That's why I never
I mean,
like to.
I can see the argument of it being a
It's I
driving
think
force
I think
for motivation,
it must
but
be a nice way to think.
yeah,
You must be
it's a
pretty
nice way
happy
to
and
think,
full of love if you
but
think like that.
to me it feels a little simple to just be like, oh yeah, because if everyone just loved each other, with all the world's problems would be fixed, and it's like I don't know about that.
I think
There's
there
definitely
is.
be a
I think there's some truth in that in a different perspective. I kind of go back to what I was saying about gratitude and love being intertwined. If everyone was a bit more grateful for where they were and grateful for what's around them, just for existing, like just grateful for things
yeah,
being,
yeah,
I
but that
think
doesn't
that could
have to be love.
yeah. I think it's how we were saying gratitude and love. It almost it's not exactly the same, but it almost is the same. But
Yeah,
yeah, not
100%.
necessarily
But
like I think
I feel like just taking love and just putting that as like the staple. It's like, yes, this is the only
yeah, I think
feeling
there's too
that's
many
good with them.
interpretations around it, isn't there?
Yeah, there's also too many different aspects of it. It's like, okay, but what
Yeah,
exactly do you mean by like loving everyone? Because you can't love everyone. That's just
exactly.
not
That's what
possible.
I think. That's why I like the idea of gratitude more, because
Oh,
the
100%.
meaning. I think
Like
the way we kind of
respect.
perceive gratitude, yeah, respect things like that. I think that's easier for us to not have a
That's
different
easier to
interpretation of
attach.
it.
That's easier to attach to, especially the word respect is much
Yeah,
easier to put a explanation to the love.
yeah,
And it's also much you can have a respect for everyone. That I mean, obviously, depending on the case for like each, but in general, you can have respect for everyone. But I don't think you can like love everyone. I mean, that just doesn't.
yeah. No, not
That, then you're back to
in that
faking
way.
love,
I
because
think yeah,
you literally can't love every single person in the world. It's just not possible.
but you can be grateful for everyone. I think
Yeah,
you
you can
can
be
be.
grateful and you can respect people, and you
Yeah,
can absolutely have like the base level like humanitarian like reaction to other
but yeah,
people.
it goes. I think we
But
spoke about it like last week about the just humans just helping humans, just that kind of
yeah,
gratitude
yeah,
I think it all kind of links together. I think language and words are very fickle things. Like the meaning we have,
true.
it can be interpreted differently, and
Oh,
it's
100%.
like the say like love your neighbor, that kind of saying. It's like that idea. I think it all just links to the just helping people. It's I think the more we simplify it, the better, because of how as soon as you start complicating language, that's when it
People fall
starts
off.
branching into so many different meanings. If you just bring it all down to a simple meaning, and which goes against what we do, which is overcomplicate. If we simplify it all to just be helpful, be grateful. It's like
Yeah.
you can't go wrong. But
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I said, I think it's, or like you said, it's more about like boiling it down to just kind of mutual, to be honest, mutual respect for people instead of bringing it so far to love.
yeah,
Because love is a very,
strong
very
word.
extreme emotion
Yeah.
to have, and it's also very, like you said, it's very up to oneself to kind of be like, what actually is
Mm.
love? Like, when do I know when I like what actually love someone? So, yeah.
Yeah. Um. So, what do you think about toxic love? Let's speak about the dark side of love. I think we kind of touched on it, like the attachment styles. But
Yeah, I think
what about
toxic love is more about. Uh, I think toxic love is the result of someone wanting the feeling of being like appreciated to the point where they trick themselves into thinking that love is what they're getting from that person.
the confusing love with just um validation of their beliefs almost, and just getting something that they
Yeah,
didn't
or
have when they
valid,
were a kid.
not necessarily beliefs either, but just validation as a person.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's say
yeah,
you
yeah.
grow up, let's say you grow up in a family where love isn't really like a thing at all. I mean, for some reason, like let's say your parents had the same when they grew up, like you said, generational
Mm.
fucking hate. Let's say you grow up in a family where there is no love, and someone comes around and they, I don't know, however they do it, they kind of pretend to love you at first, and then they get you attached, and you get attached easily because you haven't experienced that kind of gratitude or that kind of like attachment
Yeah,
to someone before. So you end up kind of being hooked on that small little teaser of love and attachment, hoping that you'll get more of that, and then it ends up being something completely
it's like
different. But at
gambling.
that point,
It's like
for everyone, love is a gamble in a sense.
yeah,
But then you end up
but some
that person
actual
ends
love
up
is not risky.
using that, yeah, that person ends up using that attachment that you have for something that is very natural to want, but you
Yeah.
never got, or maybe you did, but it wasn't like whatever the reason is. They use that attachment to their own benefit to do whatever they want, but at that
Mm.
point, you've gotten so you've gotten a taste of it, so you're like, but I need this from that person
Yeah,
again
it's an
because
addiction at
that's like
that point.
what they made. Yeah, exactly. It's an addiction at that point. And then you keep waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it. And I mean, hopefully at some point, someone or you yourself realizes that you're not going to get that from that person. Like that person
Exactly.
is not going to be that person
Yeah,
for you. Hopefully at some point.
and that's
I mean,
where
in a lot of cases,
you
people
know
don't,
if people. I think
which is bad.
that's why I wish there was more education around this awareness of what emotions actually are, and that it's not actually who you are,
Yeah.
because that the people who stay in situations like that, and people who
So many bad things happen to
kind of
people like
and,
that.
and when
That they
bad
get
things happen
broke
and they
completely.
don't know what's going on, like that it just keeps happening. Like, I hate this, but I can't stop. It's
I
because
can't stop. Yeah.
they're attached to who to that they're attached to their thoughts. They think that's who they are. They think that's they think that's all they are. This feeling inside of them of wanting love, these beliefs that they've formed, they think that's true
Yeah.
and it's real. Whereas if you zoom out and they went, wait, I actually just learned all this when I was a child. It's not actually who I am. I'm just the one who's
Which
aware
is
of
why,
this. They'd go, oh, maybe I don't have to do this, and it
which I
removes
guess
a
is
lot of the
also why
power from it.
people say love is such a powerful emotion, right? Because it's so it makes you so irrational that even
Yeah,
being in like a toxic relationship, for example, let's say you get even as far as getting physically, emotionally abused by the
yeah,
person. Love is such a powerful feeling that you can justify it and rationalize it in your own
yeah.
head, even though that should be
And
never
people
be
around you are
acceptable
like,
at
what's
all.
going? Like,
Like,
what are
yeah,
they
they're
doing?
like they don't understand. They're like, why can't you just like move
Yeah,
away? But they don't understand that it's it's such a strong emotion that it is an addiction, absolutely, and it's not
Yeah,
as simple. That's like going up to a meth addict and just being like, just fucking stop.
yeah,
It's like it's not
just
how it
yeah,
works.
exactly. And I
Or
think
going up to an
that is
alcoholic,
yeah.
just being like, stop drinking. It's like
I
you
think
don't just turn that off or on.
I think that is the dark side of love and how it can turn into that obsession and addiction. And yeah, it is akin to literally a
It
drug
is, yeah, it
addiction.
is.
When you
It is.
if someone's in a toxic environment where they're getting mentally abused or they're not feeling if you're not feeling good about yourself in a relationship, that's a bad addiction. It's like smoking. It's
Yeah.
literally harming you. And I think yeah,
I
that's
think isn't it an addiction to like feelings or to like emotions? That can happen to any emotion. It's just
yeah.
an addiction to the release of that like fucking chemical
I think
reaction.
the addiction part comes from I think dopamine. I think like that's the chemical. So I think it's almost like
Oh
a
yeah, I think so.
situational
Yeah.
thing. Like
So
if
it's
there's a
whatever.
situation that releases dopamine, you're more likely to get addicted to it. So in terms of the toxic relationships and stuff like that, it's that little bit of dopamine they might give you when they kind of give you that love.
They give you this
And then the fact that they take it
like
away from
rare.
you, it's the
Yeah.
anticipation that releases more dopamine, which is akin. It's like I said, it's like gambling. That's how they do it. They let
Yeah.
you win big, don't you? And then you get the big dopamine rush, and then you keep losing. But there's always the anticipation of,
Yeah. You
and it's
always
just
hear
all
the same
chemical,
story of like, yeah, but he or she was so good to me and so perfect in the
and
beginning.
they just hold on
And
to
it's like,
that.
yeah, because
Yeah,
they know exactly how to like hook you in. They are the perfect person for you in those, I
exactly.
don't know, days, weeks, months, whatever. And then when they have you hooked and they know they have you hooked, that's when they like reveal who they
Yeah,
actually are and who they want to be as a person. Which I mean, the reasons for people to become that kind of person can be a lot as well. Like
and that
they could,
again, it stems from beliefs in childhood, doesn't it? They probably have some sort of
yeah,
complex where
they
they
probably
think
had
they're getting a
the
dopamine
same,
rush from
yeah, they
manipulating
probably
someone.
had the same position when they were a child
And I
that
think it's
probably
interesting
got
that
so.
how that works, and because when a lot of the times people you go, I hate this person, it's all their fault, but really everyone's equal. Everyone's just got different experiences, and if you look at it like that, no one's actually at fault, but it's everyone's responsibility to look at what's going on and actually change something and control their reaction towards it.
Well,
So it's like
it. I mean, it's a. I think everyone is responsible for their own actions
yeah, 100%.
in the sense of like the only one who is at fault is yourself
Yeah,
when it comes to how you react to things. And I'm not
yeah,
saying that can be perceived wrong. I'm not saying that a victim of abuse, it's the victim's fault. I was saying it's the abuser's fault on their own part. Let's say, even if they
yeah,
got abused, it's the abuser's fault on their own part for not being able to control their emotions and not
yeah,
being able to like realize
yeah,
that
because
what
it's
they're
their
doing is wrong.
responsibility to do that.
Yeah, it's their responsibility to not do that upon someone else. But
Exactly.
obviously, it's difficult to say if they also grew up with abuse. But it's also I mean, to boil it down, it's also your responsibility as the person being abused to realize that you are being
Yeah,
put in a bad position and realize that that isn't love and you need to get the fuck out as quickly as possible. And
yeah,
that only you can do that as yourself, because again, love, you can't just switch it off. So you have to
yeah.
realize that as
I
yourself
think
and be able to like drag you out of the addiction and just move away from it, which is obviously way
it's
easier
way
said than
yeah.
done.
It's one of those things where we're we are so primitive. Like our bodies do. Most
Yeah, 100%.
people are controlled by their minds and bodies rather than they're not
Yeah.
controlling their minds.
Oh
It's
yeah,
because
if
it's
you're a
so
5 year
hard
old and
to
you don't know that abuse is bad. The exception is children.
yeah
Children are never responsible for their own actions. No
because
matter what
they
happens,
are
it
not
is
conscious. They don't know. They're not
yeah, it
aware
is
of
always the parent's
yeah
responsibility for whatever their child does.
until you're
No matter
like
what happens, it's always the parent's
well
fault.
how old are you when you become like conscious like 12 like when you actually
I
start
think
knowing what's going
um
on.
I think when you
Is it
start
like I
becoming a
think it's like
teenager,
I think 7 maybe you start becoming aware of kind of you, and then I think yeah like
yeah,
12 you start kind of developing your
I
own.
think around
That's when your
12,
beliefs are kind of more set, and that's when your personality is almost
yeah,
you've taken form
that's
as
when
who
the
you are.
hormones start start kicking in and
Yeah.
start to like
So and that's
mature you
crazy.
more and
By the
more.
age of like 12, that's you are who you are, and then that shapes you for the rest of your life. And
Yep.
you're gonna
No,
learn more
it's been shaped way
experiences.
before that. It's been
Yeah,
shaped way before that.
exactly. And then the things that happen from then, you think that shapes you, but it shapes you through a filter of what you've already learned. And
Yeah, I think
those
a lot
things
of people,
could be good or bad for you.
a lot of people miss or not miss. A lot of people underestimate how important your role as a parent is for how
100%.
long it is important and like how
Even
much the
it's like
responsibility
the
is
ages
on you.
of like when you a newborn baby as well. Like you think like a newborn baby wouldn't take these things, but that's almost when you're the child's most
That's the
malleable.
yeah,
That is
that
the
is
time
the
to
that is the time where
have
you
a child
literally
in
lay the
a
ground
household
framework
of
for everything.
you know you think having a child
Happens
in a
quickly.
household of love and where the parents love each other, there's a lot of love in the house and it's not toxic. It's an actual pure love.
Yeah,
That child is going to grow up and have good beliefs and be shaped into a person where their experiences, make them better and
they'll
not
grow
hinder
up to
them.
do the same,
And yeah,
most likely.
and I think that's the key, isn't it? I think
That's
I
probably
think
it.
yeah, love and gratitude. I think that is the key to to a lot of things. Changing, being aware
So in
of why you love something. Is it good or is it bad? And
yeah,
also being aware, is there things you don't like, and can you focus on the areas of them that you do like, and get closer to love. Maybe you don't have to love it, but get closer up that scale to love. From
always find things in your life that are less like time consuming, but you also love doing.
yeah,
These just little things here and there that you can really enjoy to kind of put your mind on
yeah.
things. It's always
And
important.
there's always small things you can be grateful
Oh,
for,
100%.
and
There's always
you
something.
know, like the example of working out or just dieting. As the idea, you might not like it, but look a bit deeper into it. Think, actually, I do enjoy cooking or something. I enjoy the cooking aspect of
Mm.
dieting, for example. Like, put your focus there. Oh, you enjoy the drive to the gym. You enjoy listening to the music. You might not have to enjoy the actual workout, but you enjoy listening to a podcast, for example. You could listen to our podcast at the gym. That could
Yeah,
be the bit you focus on.
Spotify.com.
/ the Why Question podcast. Uh, and yeah,
Boom.
I think that's a good place to wrap up. I think try and focus on the areas you do like / love. You don't have to
Yeah.
love everything, but when you do love something, just feel it and feel immerse
Can
yourself
you
in it, and
feel the
and
love?
and and it will take you far. But yeah,
That's
what should we
probably
speak about next week? Damn, it all goes quiet. Chat.
ah. I
No,
mean,
we're not. So
I don't know if we're no,
why
we're
do
not
we?
speaking about
Okay.
why do we
Anyway,
have prostitutes? That's not that's not
um,
philosophical enough. We could I mean I could have talked about I don't know if we're in the position to talk about like parenting. I don't know if that's
nah, I don't think we should. I don't want to get. I don't think we
no
should.
that's not our realm.
Not yet. You have a kid
Not
together.
yet.
Should we dance?
Someday.
What?
No.
Okay. We'll have a shot. Um, no. If anyone's made it this
Why do we
far,
travel?
please comment the word um tree. Comment the word tree if you made it this far.
Of course it's tree, it's always tree. Why do we travel? I mean I'm gonna travel soon, so I
Yeah, why
guess
do travel could be a good one actually.
that's
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
a lot of different reasons actually for that.
Yeah, I think that we can look back into the
Why do we destroy
primitive.
the earth?
We'll come up. We'll have a few options, and we'll come up with
But no, no,
something.
no. As in, like, why do we destroy the earth when traveling? But
Oh,
yeah, I think why do we travel is a
even
bit
why
of
do
a
we?
nice one.
Yeah,
But,
that one. Yeah, Fuzzy's carrying the podcast. So
okay,
your ideas are awful.
you're a little bit off the mark there.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll catch you next week for episode 12. Damn, that's like how many months?
It's
3.
3 months, 3 months in a row.